listen into what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said right after the deal was signed.
दुनिया में लोग इसकी चर्चा मदर ऑफ ऑल डील्स के रूप में कर रहे हैं। ये समझौता भारत के 140 करोड़ लोगों और यूरोपीय देशों के करोड़ों लोगों के लिए बहुत बड़े अवसर लेकर आया है। ये दुनिया की दो बड़ी इकोनॉमीज के बीच तालमेल का एक शानदार उदाहरण बना है। ये समझौता ग्लोबल जीडीपी के करीब 25% और ग्लोबल ट्रेड के करीब 1/3 हिस्से को रिप्रेजेंट करता है। ये समझौता ट्रेड के साथ साथ डेमोक्रेसी और रूल ऑफ लॉ के प्रति हमारे शेयर्ड कमिटमेंट को भी सशक्त करता है। साथियों, ईयू के साथ हुआ ये फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट ब्रिटेन और एप्टा समझौतों को भी कॉम्प्लीमेंट करेगा। इससे ट्रेड और ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन दोनों को मजबूती मिलेगी। मैं भारत के नौजवानों को, सभी देशवासियों को इसके लिए बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। मैं टेक्सटाइल, जेम्स एंड ज्वेलरी, लेदर एंड शूज ऐसे हर सेक्टर से जुड़े साथियों को भी बधाई देता हूं। ये समझौता आपके लिए बहुत सहायक सिद्ध होगा। साथियों, इस ट्रेड डील से भारत में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को तो बल मिलेगा ही, साथ ही सर्विसेज से जुड़े सेक्टर का भी और अधिक विस्तार होगा। ये फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट दुनिया के हर बिजनेस, हर इन्वेस्टर के लिए भारत पर कॉन्फिडेंस को और मजबूत करेगा। ये समझौता ग्लोबल जीडीपी के करीब 25% और ग्लोबल ट्रेड के करीब 1/3 हिस्से को रिप्रेजेंट करता है। दुनिया में लोग इसकी चर्चा मदर ऑफ ऑल डील्स के रूप में कर रहे हैं। ये दुनिया की दो बड़ी इकोनॉमीज के बीच तालमेल का एक शानदार उदाहरण बना है। ये समझौता ट्रेड के साथ साथ डेमोक्रेसी और रूल ऑफ लॉ के प्रति हमारे शेयर्ड कमिटमेंट को भी सशक्त करता है।
And let's take you through the details of the negotiations, the deal that is being finalized of the free trade agreement for the next 20 years. The reason why it is being called the mother of all deals. Now, primarily it aims to reduce tariffs in order to boost bilateral trade flows as far as India and EU are concerned, lower import duties which will make goods cheaper and also more competitive. This will also encourage higher trade volumes between India and the European Union. Phased tariff cuts that are meant for European automobiles especially, and also for spirits, duties that will be reduced gradually instead of all of it happening at one go. This will also give Indian industries the time to adjust to the competition and how it varies at different degrees. Enhanced EU access, that will also what it will mean for Indian financial and legal services. European Union firms that will gain easier entry into India's services market. This will also mean increased competition, investment and expertise. Lower EU tariffs, especially on textiles, pharma, gems, footwear, that will hugely benefit these sectors. Indian exports that are set to become cheaper and more attractive in Europe. This benefits Indian manufacturers, especially exporters, and agriculture, dairy products that have been excluded in order to protect Indian farmers. This deal that also aims as far as sensitive farm sectors that have been completely kept out of this agreement, and this will shield local farmers from foreign competition. The deal that is likely to come into effect early next year, and final approvals and ratifications that are in progress as part of talks. The trade benefits that are expected to start soon after. Now, what exactly does this deal mean in terms of defense partnership? The aim between both sides is to strengthen cooperation on maritime security and especially defense deals. Joint initiatives that are also being considered, especially on cyber security, counter-terrorism efforts that are being looked into very majorly, boosting strategic trust between India and the European Union. In fact, as part of this, India will also join Japan, South Korea in the EU partnerships, facilitating defense collaboration and information sharing. And let's also break down the other details of what this deal will entail, especially for mobility and supply chains. This will also mean easier movement of students, researchers, professionals between both sides. It will create legal pathways for skilled Indian workforce. It will also promote joint research, innovation, academic collaboration, and strengthen resilient supply chains beyond China's dependence. It will also enhance economic security for both India and Europe. Let me take this back to my colleague Pranay Upadhyay, who's been breaking down all the details of how this deal is now being finalized, especially Pranay, to understand the lower reliance on China for trade and supply deals, how this deal is expected to diversify markets for Indian exporters, reduce dependence on traditional destinations, and most importantly, how both sides are expected to reduce and eliminate import duties, what it will mean for gems and jewellery, electrical machinery, leather and footwear, textiles, chemicals, all these sectors that are set to see ease as part of this deal.
Tuisha, let me help you understand and our viewers that, why Europe is trying to diversify, why they are looking towards India. See, the over-reliance of European market on Chinese goods, be it the solar panels, be it their chips. In some sectors and in some products, the reliance is over 90%. And this is a worrying trend for the European Union as a business entity and as a business bloc. And therefore, post-COVID, post-2021, Europe has realized that this over-dependence on China is actually, causing a lot of disruption. And in fact, it is turning out to be very dangerous for European Union. And that's why the entire idea of China plus one has come into shape. And Europe has turned towards India to have a more stronger reliant partnership in terms of trade, in terms of services, in terms of goods. And we have seen that, what a good business deal is. When the both partners bring complementarity to each other, then it makes a more robust and a more profitable proposition. And here, European Union is a population deficient. They are looking at manpower imports. India is a manpower plus country. We have human resource. We are human resource rich country, and therefore we have forged many partnership agreements with many European countries. These are the bilateral arrangement in terms of the migration and mobility, where we can send our professionals to the European markets, be it Germany, France, Austria, UK, with many other countries. But now with European Union, we are looking at a greater service trade. Currently the India-EU service trade is over $80 billion. And there is a very ambitious target is to double up this business in next 1 decade. After this India-EU FTA come into force, the ambitious target of doubling this business will bring certainly a lot of more jobs and job opportunities in India as well as in the European market. Currently there are about 8 lakh jobs, which are 8 lakh jobs in Europe, which are dependent on Europe's trade with India. And the target is to maximize that number. That is the target is to double that number. Say about 1 lakh. If you see that exponential increase of job prospects, that is certainly going to bring good in European market as well as in Indian market. Besides that, the sectors you mentioned about gems, jewelry, textile, pharma, chemical, all these sectors in India are not only the large employment generator sectors, but they are also labor-intensive sectors. And that's why if there is a more business in these sectors, this is certainly going to result into more jobs. Currently, if you see in number and statistics, around 35 million jobs in India are dependent on India's trade with European Union. And if that number is going to increase, then certainly the more jobs will be created in Indian economy. And also,
oh yes, absolutely. Pranay, continue to stay with us.